I am trying so hard to learn how to take deep breaths and to stop holding my breath. I realize that part of the reason I was getting so lightheaded. Look, this is quiet time and I still can't. My mind just be like rocks skipping on water. And one thing that I found to help me relax is the music. And I got these little children I'm constantly chasing. And I'm trying to help them learn how to relax. We would be at my grandmother's house and there was no running in the house, and we knew it. I remember one time we got caught in the back room jumping on my Uncle Miller bed, and we made a trampoline out of it, and I was having so much fun. Charles and Evelyn and Cheryl was there, and we was just jumping in the bed. And Mother walked in and caught us jumping in the bed, and she had a switch, and she frailed them, and I scat real quick. I ran all the way into the kitchen and hid underneath the table, and I heard them, "You ain't gonna whoop Carol. You ain't gonna whoop Carol. She was jumping in the bed too. She was jumping in the bed too. You ain't gonna whoop her." And then she just reached under the table and just frailed me just a little bit. It wasn't even hard. I declare I didn't even feel it. But nonetheless, I passed out screaming. And my greatest regret with the whole thing was that I disappointed her. And I felt so bad because I disappointed her. And they made so much fun of me, and they poked fun at me and the names that they called me, and they taunted me so badly. And she got me and she put me in her lap, because it must have been an hour. I don't know. It seemed like it was. It probably was but a few minutes that I was crying. And tears of pain can seem like hours. And so I was just crying, and she got me in her arms and in her rocking chair. And I remember I looked back, and they were standing in the door of the dining room, and they were just poking their tongue out. They were pointing at me, and they were just laughing. They was calling me, "Oh, yellow banana," and look at her, and she crazy. And I mean, just all kind of little things. Perhaps I was crazy when I look back. When I look in the mirror, when I look at myself now, I'm in acceptance of my craziness. And I have shown it. I have. And she rocked me and she rubbed me. And finally I dozed off. And when I woke up, I was in her bed, and I was feeling better. I think that a good nap can be a great thing throughout the day. And I feel like it's a horrible thing when you're bullied. It's like 3 against 1, and I was the youngest one. I'm glad my grandmother was there. And, it's a lot of young people who are being bullied because they lighter, because they darker, because they short, because they tall, because they missing a tooth in the front, because they weigh 20 pounds more than the rest of them, because of this, that, ain't, is. Their shoes got a hole in it. Their clothes got a hole in it. Their clothes are dirty. They're torn. They're tattered. And we batter one another with our mouth. And I wonder, why can we be so mean? I have been that person too. I have. And trying to be accepted. trying to be accepted, learning. This is how other children treat one another. They are completely mean. The older children would be completely mean to the younger one. I'm persuaded in my own mind. Everybody is not that way. It's not like that all the time. I mean, there is like differences and things like that. But downright just jumping someone and just beating them down. And just a constant thing. Every time you see them, you shoot at them. It's the first person that you start abusing. And it'll just go on and on and on as long as you can see them. Something wrong with you. I'm persuaded ain't shit wrong with me half the time. But a whole lot of stuff wrong with you who do other people like that. And you can call me gullible. I know I'm senile, gullible, naive, crazy on a motherfucker. I got a little bit of narcissistics in there too. It's a whole lot of things living inside of my head because that's just who I am. I'm a human. I ain't no fucking robot. You can't goddamn program me. Stop trying. Program your damn self. I'm trying real hard to program me, but I can't live in peace. I can't do it. I gotta walk out that door. And it ain't that nobody bought. I mean, you know what I can? I can cut the television off. I blame myself for cutting that song, bitch, on. Because I can go on right ahead on and keep right on going. But what they say, to know and not do anything makes you just as guilty. So, I mean, there's wars going on everywhere. Just so many different places. And I'm like, oh no, another war is gonna start. And surely, I'm like, no, that man not. He's not going to. He's just doing training exercises. That's all he's doing. But during the course of his training exercise, during the course of their training exercises, were people killed during the training exercises? Why would you even aim it at someone else's property? Aim it towards your own house. You know, don't go outside of where you live. I don't give a fuck what you done made yourself president over of. You're not president over everybody else's property. No. You do not have the right of way on somebody else's land. Please stop taking it. And if we were to stand together, then we're going to be called terrorists. A terrorist by the terrorist. The terrorist called another terrorist. By the mouth of 2 or 3, let every word be established. The terrorist calling another terrorist a terrorist in the terrorist act. Only thing I'm asking you to do is stay off my property. Now I'm a terrorist. And I know I shouldn't drink so much. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the best way to be drunk if bombs start falling. Or if they break the police or an intruder, police, a neighbor, a random act, somebody that I don't know, just anybody attack. Do we all have rabbits? Are we all rabbits and don't know it? I just ask myself that. Is there something wrong with me? The reason I don't believe that there is a heaven or a hell, is there something wrong with me because of that? Is there something wrong with me because I'm afraid? Is there something wrong with me because I'm depressed or I'm anxious or I'm grieving my children that I've lost or my parents are gone? And I wasn't afforded the time to grieve the loss of my son. I didn't have a good support system. It seemed like everybody that I thought loved me really turned their back on me in my greatest moment of need. talked about me so badly behind my back, lied on me, just all kind of things. And it still hurts me to this day. It just does. And I just see people just suffering. I look this way, I see suffering. I'm pointed in that the news. It show me what's going on around the globe. Should I stop watching? Then I'll only have a false sense of security because I want to know. Because if it can happen there, it can happen anywhere. We got Canada governor that they over here and decided that they can take your money at will. They can freeze your livelihood and I rebuke it away. I hope they take him to the highest courts in the land and they laughing whoever he is. I ain't gonna call your name because I ain't gonna give you no glory and I'm not gonna point no lights on you because I don't want your motherfucking ass to shine. I want people like you to be dimmed out that'll use your power to take away people's livelihoods for standing up for their rights. But long as I didn't tell them to stand up for their rights. I told them this is what I want them to do. And if you don't do it, then I got a problem with you. I shouldn't have to live that way. I'm 55 years old. I don't need you telling me I can't stand up for myself or trying to tell me how to live. Look, that's the God way. That's that old bullshit. They took it out of the schools. It gonna soon be people gonna realize that shit is the biggest brainwashing technique there ever has been. I don't believe in a heaven or a hell. I don't. I do believe in everlasting life of my spirit. But Carol shall pass away. And I won't be no more. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna cease to exist. But I do believe that my spirit, well, I don't know. Because I don't know. I ain't never done died. I don't know. I believe that all the oxygen that surrounds me is a spirit. That every individual red blood cell and white blood cell inside of my body is a spirit. That's just how I feel. That's how I see life. I see the tree sitting across the street as a spirit. I see the clouds in the sky, the vapor, oxygen particles, spirits. Anything that oxygen has, or whatever oxygen is in, is a spirit. I just believe that all oxygen is a spirit. So tiny you cannot see it with an eye. Have you ever seen sperm come in a cup in a lab? And in that little cup, it's just like a large number of living sperm, all individual. And I cannot remember what the person is. Is it a pathologist? I can't remember the name of the person. It's been a long time since I worked in a lab. It could be a pathologist that can count the actual, under a microscope, do a sperm count, and each individual cell he counts, and the number may be real high, making it easy for you to fertilize a woman's uterus. And if it's real low, then it could be something going on with your scrotum. And they can look at abnormal sperm cells and what they shaped like and funky looking cells. And it's an amazing thing to see. Life, so tiny, they can look at it underneath the microscope. And that life that was so tiny that they could see it underneath the microscope was once me. That little teeny tiny life. That little life here that swam hard and fast and made it to my mother's ovaries or wherever it was that the egg was fertilized at, and down the fallopian tube, and attached itself to her uterus. And I grew and I grew and I grew. And she spared my life. She could have aborted me, but she spared my life. And I was made. And I was birthed out. And you might call it the process. I call it mutation, evolution, soul creation. It's so many different things that it is when I'm in there being mutated. But look at me now, 55 years later. And bam, you can take it away just like that. You fucking bastard.